Some people will tell you that I don't like land title companies. That's not true. Some people tell you that I think land title insurance is a waste of money. That's not true. I think a good land title insurance policy from a good land title company is a very smart thing to get. And I don't think you should buy property in the United States without it. So, just want to clear the air there. Land title insurance is really important. It's like a lot of other things that you buy. You want to make sure that you're buying a quality product from somebody that you trust, and that certainly applies to land title insurance. So I wanted to talk a little bit about why you need to choose a good land title company. If you're buying and selling commercial real estate, either as an investment or because you're a land developer, it's really important to get the right land title insurance coverage. So I want to explain why that is, and I want to tell you what makes a good land title company a good land title company. What are some things you want to ask about your title company before you buy title insurance? Let me start with a story. I'm going to give you the introduction to this story. This is a real life story that happened to me, and then I'll conclude at the end of the video. I'll tell you what happened. But this story helps illustrate why good land title insurance and a good land title company is so important. So I was working on a commercial development. It was here in the Central Valley, California. And it was an existing commercial parcel. It had a couple buildings on it. And the client came to me. They wanted to do a subdivision. They wanted to split the one parcel into two and sell off the one of the buildings with the one of the parcels that was going to be created by the subdivision. So a land attorney I worked with came to me to get some help with that. And make a long story short, the tax assessor parcel showed a single parcel. It's only one tax assessor parcel, but the grant deed that I was provided by the client, the latest grant deed that we had on file from the clerk and recorder, showed that there was actually three parcels. So there was three parcels. So it felt weird to me. I felt like the lot merger had probably been done. Usually a city will require a lot merger before they'll let you develop a parcel like that and put buildings over property line. In this case, both the buildings were over the property line of the three existing lots. So we went down, we talked to the city. They said we have no record of a parcel merger. We went down and talked to the county. The county said we have no record of a parcel merger. The title report that was provided by the client showed the same land description as the vesting deed, so it showed the three existing lots. We asked the title company, we said, hey, are you guys sure there hasn't been a lot merger? It just seems a little funky to us. The title company said, nope, we have no record of a lot merger. You've got three parcels. So we go back to the client, we said, hey, this seems weird, but everybody's telling us you got three parcels. You don't need to do subdivision. We can do a lot line adjustment. We'll merge the three parcels into two parcels. We'll adjust the lot lines so they don't run around your buildings, and we'll save you guys some money. It's a cheaper process in my part of California. So the owner said, that's great. Let's try that. We let them know, hey, it's possible that somebody missed a merger here, either the city or the title company. You know, there's a risk, but based on everything everybody's told us so far, we think we can do a lot line adjustment. So the client told us to go ahead and do that. We started work on a lot line adjustment. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you what happened. Okay? Things did not go well. Things went a little sideways, and I want to explain why. Okay, so what's a land title company? Going to give you a short answer to that. What do? A land title company is an insurance company, and they provide insurance for title to land. In other words, they make sure that when you buy a piece of property, the guy or gal that's selling you that property actually owns what you are paying for. That's, in a nutshell, what a land title company does. They are an insurance company, just like your car insurance company, or if you're an architect or a civil engineer, it's like your professional liability insurance company. They're an insurance company. They sell an insurance product. Now, what do? Land title companies, most of them keep what's called a title plant, and they geographically index all the records, land records in a particular area, and that's how they understand what kind of documents might affect the title to a particular piece of property. They do other things like provide escrow services, but that in a nutshell is what a title company does. Okay, so how do land surveyors and land title companies work together? I want you to understand that so you know why I'm sharing this perspective with you. I have a very specific relationship with land title companies that obviously colors my perspective a little bit. I'm not going to claim to be completely unbiased. So land surveyors depend on title companies in a couple ways. We depend on them to give us the latest vesting deed for a property that's being surveyed. That goes back to that example that I just gave you. We also depend on land title companies to provide us with a list of easements or leases that might encumber a piece of property, a parcel. So we depend on land title companies to do that. Most surveyors do not maintain their own geographic indexes of all the land records in a particular jurisdiction. So that's something that we depend on title companies to do. And most land surveyors work together with land title companies when there's a big property transaction to figure out what exactly the title insurance is going to include and what it's going to exclude. And most of the time we're doing that in connection with what's called a land title survey or an ALTA survey. And so we're working with the title company and the buyer and the seller and their attorneys and the lender and their attorney to figure out what potential issues are there on a property, title issues, and how's that going to be handled in the insurance coverage. So land surveyors work with land title companies all the time. It's a very close kind of symbiotic relationship that we have with them. So in a surveyor's opinion, in my opinion as a land surveyor, what makes a good land title company? I'm going to give you 4 things that make a great land title company. These are the 4 things you want to look for when you're choosing a land title company to work with. Number 1, a good land title company keeps a local land title plant, and they have on staff experienced local title officers. I work with a land title officer in the Bay Area. She is super knowledgeable. She's got all kinds of local history she knows about the Bay Area, about how land got developed and who the major landowners were, and she knows all about the tidelands that got filled in and parts of the San Francisco Peninsula, and she knows about, the naval bases and how all that kind of land title history worked. She's super, super smart gal. She's one of the best land title officers I've ever worked with. A lot of title companies no longer employ those kinds of people. They've offshored a lot of their record keeping to outside the United States, and they let a lot of those good people go. Now there are a few title companies that do still have that kind of local knowledge and local land title records, but there are not many of them. So that's really key. Get a good local title company with a good local plant and a good local title officer. Second, a good title company provides good quality products. So they're providing a good quality land title report, which is an offer to insure. They're providing a good subdivision guarantee. They're going to work with your surveyor to provide the right kind of documents that they need to track down missing documents. A good title company standing behind their product. They're putting together a good quality product. And the quality of a lot of land title products has suffered a lot in the last 20 years as things have been moved offshore. So it's important to have a title company that does a good job. The third thing, a good land title company is responsive. They're going to answer your phone call. They're going to reply to your emails. They're going to talk to your land surveyor. I can't tell you how many times I've had a land title company that won't pick up the phone. Very frustrating for me and frustrating for the client. So you want a title company that's going to treat you well, that is going to treat you like a project's important to them. And then you finally want a land title company that's going to, number 4, that's going to work with your land surveyor to solve problems. So surveyors find problems. That's what we do. We find problems. So you want to have a title company that's going to work with your surveyor to try and figure out, are there ways to solve the land title problems on a particular parcel. And a good title company will do that. I'm not saying that they're going to insure bad risk, because they don't want to do that, and you shouldn't expect them to. But sometimes there's ways to clean things up and to get the insurance that you need, and a good title company will help you do that. So I'm going to give you an example of the opposite of that. And I've had this happen so many times I've lost count, but I will be working on a project. I'll find something on a project site. Let's say it's a line of overhead utility poles. There's no utility easement listed in the title report. So I'll call up the title company and say, hey, I think we're missing an easement here. I've got an overhead utility line that runs on the east side of the property. It looks like it carries communications lines. Can you guys go in and double check, make sure you didn't miss something in your list of easements? And what the title company does, instead of actually trying to find me the document that I need, is they just add an exception for the overhead utility lines to the title insurance coverage. Well, that covers the title insurance company. It doesn't help me, the land surveyor, and it definitely doesn't help my client, the landowner, right? I really need to figure out if there's an easement in place for that overhead utility line, and if there is, where is it at on the ground? A good title company is going to go look for that easement document, and if they can't find it, they're going to come back and talk to you about why they can't find it and what they think they can do to help resolve the issue. So that's one example of the difference between a bad title company and a good title company. So let me finish my opening story. I was telling you about that commercial property that I was trying to subdivide. We decided we could do a lot line adjustment because there was 3 existing lots. We get almost all the way done through the lot line adjustment process, and we go to the title company to get a updated title report. And because I was suspicious that there might be something funky going on, I asked the client's permission to work with a different title company, somebody that was recommended to me in this particular city, and the company gave me permission. The owner gave me permission to do that. So we hired this other land title company and asked for an updated report to go in with our lot line adjustment to the city. And lo and behold, the title company got back to me about a week later. They said, "Hey, we're going to be late preparing this report." I said, "No problem. What's going on?" They said, "Well, something's not right here. Your hunch was, you had a good hunch. Something's funky and we're still trying to figure it out." I said, "No problem. That's why we hired you guys. Take your time. Let me know what you find out." They come back to me a week or two later. They said, "Hey, looks like the other title company made a mistake. There was a lot merger was done in the early 2000s and you guys only have one lot. You don't have 3 lots." So, "Yep, I was afraid that might happen." I said, "All right." I had to go back to the client, tell the client, "Hey, the title company you hired," which was before I got involved in the project, "the title company you hired made a mistake. They missed the lot merger that happened in 2000 and it's not on your current deed." So we couldn't do a lot line adjustment. I had to go back, basically not start from scratch, but I had to start a lot of that process over and do a parcel map, a subdivision, because the title company didn't do their job right. One missed document probably cost that client $20,000 and potentially cost them the sale because they had a time-sensitive purchaser. It's really, really key to get a good local title company that you have a relationship with that isn't going to let those kind of mistakes happen. You want to work with a good land title company. You want to build a relationship with them over the long haul, and you don't want to select your land title company based on low bid or low cost. If you don't have a good relationship with a land title company, ask your surveyor who they like to work with. Most land surveyors know good title companies and have people that they want to work with. Make sure you got a good land title company on board. It's really important. Good land title insurance coverage is really important too.